Hi, I'm going to show you how we make yogurt in our house. It's a long process, but it's an easy process. Most of the work is done by your cooktop, by whatever incubating source you use, and by the live yogurt cultures. We started making yogurt around here quite some time ago, years ago, just because we were eating a lot of yogurt at the time. We don't eat so much now. I eat very little because, I just don't eat very much of it. It's a unique thing, on the ketogenic diet. You can have heavy cream, but you're not supposed to have milk because milk, whole milk, has, and even more so, skim milk, which is full of lactose, which is a sugar. So you'd say, well, how can you eat yogurt? Because it's made from milk. And we use cow's milk. I know that there are people who use goat's milk and stuff, but we haven't gone there yet. My understanding of this, per Dr. Stephen Phinney, who is a world authority, the lactose, the sugar in the milk, is essentially feeds the fermentation process. And so you can get away with eating yogurt when you shouldn't be drinking milk. So that's the understanding. And Greek yogurt is all the rage. My understanding again is that Greek yogurt is essentially yogurt, plain yogurt, where the whey has been drained off. And we'll do it both ways. My husband likes it both ways. He likes just yogurt, and he'll put some sugar-free flavored syrups in it and stir it up, and he'll have that as a quick snack. We use it in his smoothie sometimes after his bike rides. But sometimes you want something kind of creamy and luscious. So if you take the yogurt and you strain the whey off, which is super easy, you're left with this creamy textured thing. If you add a little bit of your non-sugar sweetener, maybe a couple of pieces of fruit, and I'll show you, that's kind of what I did. Or sugar-free syrups, or just plain. You can mix a bunch of stuff with this. It's nice. And so anyway, we started making our own because we were using it a lot, and it's expensive to get plain yogurt in the amounts we were doing. So we found we could, get a milk and make the yogurt, and all you need are live yogurt cultures. I am going to tell you, you don't need fancy equipment for this. We now have an Excalibur dehydrator, which we use to make jerky and dehydrate onions and celery and mushrooms and stuff like that. But it also has a yogurt setting. But when I was making it before, I get the milk, the yogurt in the containers I was going to use, usually mason jars, and put it in a bath in a roasting pan of warm water, cover it over with tea towels, and have that all sitting on top of a heating pad. It was that low tech because it just needs to incubate. But I would find after I would make it, and I would get, say some just Dannon yogurt as the starter. And I would make a batch and be great. Then I'd use my own yogurt as the starter, thinking, well, there's live yogurt cultures there. And kind of each time it didn't set as well. So I sent away for some heritage cultures, which are you can use intermittent. You know about Piper. You know about Piper and her need to bark when I'm making a video. Excuse me. Love our dogs. So my understanding of that, again, just take this for my understanding, is, and I'll put the link to the site where I got it. It's called Cultures for Health, I believe. Is that commercially produced yogurt has live yogurt cultures, but they're kind of almost like, hybrid vegetables that you can get now. They're like hybrid tomatoes as opposed to heritage. So they're not made to be used interminably. I don't know the science behind it. These, I paid for it. You get 2 little packets of this. I threw one in the freezer, one of the little packets in the freezer, and I've been using this same culture strain for months. So I make the yogurt, I reserve some off at the end to make my next batch. You're supposed to make it on a fairly regular basis. I've really pushed the envelope on that, I will tell you. And instead of taking 9 hours to set up and then still not setting, this sets up in about 2 hours. So anyway, I'll get you all that information. But anyway, this is how we make yogurt around here. And I would show you some of the finished product, but I ate it. Not all of it. I ate the stuff I had for the display purposes. And FYI, there's nothing to point out to you how dirty your kitchen is until you put a high definition video on it with bright lights. Such is life. Thanks. I hope you enjoy. Okay, we start off with organic milk we get at Costco. By the way, you can throw the rest in the freezer. It works perfectly well after you thaw it out and use your yogurt. Here is the starter that is just from an old previous batch of yogurt that I made. I just reserved some in a little bit. That'll be our starter, kind of like your sourdough starter when you make sourdough bread, which of course we don't because we are ketogenic. And it's as simple as putting some milk in a pot and heating it up slowly. I do it pretty slowly, pretty gently. I have had boilovers before, so you don't do that, but it's not a disaster. I have a instant read thermometer. I'll put the link to that in as well. We use this a lot for all kinds of cooking and preparations. And you want the milk to get up to about 175 degrees. So just every now and again I check it. I think when I have it over medium-low heat, it takes about 20 minutes to heat up to that amount. You just want to keep a little bit of an eye on it. This is actually the most labor-intensive part, is just keeping an eye on the temperature of the milk. You know, I used to do double boilers and stuff, and I dispensed with that. So then after a while, you can see a little bit of steam coming up. It looked like it was about right. That's about perfect. It could be a little bit hotter. It can get up to 185. You know, remember, people have been making yogurt, you know, like in the desert for years, so you don't have to be absolutely precise. When it gets to the, there goes Piper again. When it gets to the right temperature, you'll turn it down, just turn it off the heat, and let it reduce in temperature to about 110, 115 degrees. You want it cool enough so that it doesn't kill the live yogurt cultures. You heat it up to make sure that you kill any bacteria, but you don't want to kill the yogurt culture. So in I plop, very messily, the yogurt starter, which is just from my last batch of yogurt. And I whisk it up. Again, you can get really precious with this and fancy. I've gotten lazier and lazier and lazier as I've proceeded on in life. And so I don't get fancy. I don't worry about the little bit of skim that's left on the top. I figure, you know, pull it off if I need to, but it's all good. So you want to stir it up gently to just incorporate those live yogurt cultures, which are what essentially set the milk into yogurt. Now this is tricky, trying to hold a camera and then spoon in to jars. And this is just what I do. You can use any kind of container. I use these pint jars because they are what fit in my Excalibur dehydrator. We did not get the big honking dehydrator. You can get, I think, ones that have 9 trays. Ours has 5, which is plenty for our needs. I'll do a video on making jerky, which my husband really likes. And it's a lot less expensive than buying jerky, which is ketogenic friendly if you look at the ingredients. Anyway, I'll do a video about that. And you can see this is messy mostly because I'm trying to do it with one hand and videotape. I clearly need to hire a camera person, excuse me, not to be generous. So then when I've filled it up, and I pop the pints into the Excalibur, and I've taken the trays out. I'll put those to the side, the dehydrating trays, which have a mesh on them. Pretty cool. And then this model has a setting for making yogurt, which is delightful. I mentioned before, I would just put a roasting pan with warm water, cover everything over with towels, put it on top of a heating pad, and just every now and again I would just monitor the heat to make sure it was staying between about 90 and 115 or something like that. There are lots of different ways to do this. You don't have to have a special machine for it. You can, some people stick it in the oven with the light on, and that kind of keeps it, but I find this very easy. So we've been pleased with the investment of this machine, dirty though it is. It is a loud machine, I'll tell you that, so we don't mind. But so this is after, I think, just 2 hours. And it's pretty much set up, as you can see. So I will, take these out. You can see the skim and some of the milk solids that are on top there, but again, we don't mind that. Pull them out and put them in the fridge. FYI, I probably could have avoided that skin on the top if I did what I usually do, which is put a little lid on top of those. Just forgot this time. So and you can see how my day goes. There's an empty coffee cup and a wine glass. So you can see how my day progresses. And the wine glass is empty as well. And there they are, popped in the fridge. Those are some of my almond cookies, by the way. And those are some of our homegrown eggs. Our production is down because the days are shorter, and we recently rehomed some of our birds to our son and his wife. Now, here's a step you don't have to do because your yogurt's ready. This is draining off the whey. Again, I've got cheesecloth, which is fancy for me. I usually use coffee filters, but dang it, I couldn't find the coffee filters, which is odd. We don't really use a coffee maker. I either grind beans and do a Chemex, or we drink instant coffee. Anyway, I couldn't find my coffee filter. So this is cheesecloth I had on hand. Through a cheap strainer. And you just plop the yogurt in there. And you can see immediately the whey starts draining off. And then you let that sit. Pop it in the fridge. Let it sit. I've done it overnight before. I find that it will generally reduce whatever amount of yogurt you have by half. So, it might seem wasteful, but let me tell you what. The whey is pretty good stuff. Again, there it is, just drip, drip, dripping away. We have used the whey for everything from giving it to the chickens, sometimes in the winter when they might need a little bit extra oomph, and they just drink it up. Pour it over the dog's food. They love it. I will take some and freeze it and pop it into to smoothies for my husband. It's like it's literally whey protein, and that was that creamy stuff. You can see how much was left, and that's the whey that's left over. So that's a half a pint. So that's just about exactly half of the volume of the yogurt. Again, it's very good stuff. And this is that was berries and some Splenda. Let that sit for a while. Those are frozen. Those are homegrown berries, by the way. Frozen berries and some non-sugar sweetener on top just to give it a little sweet, but you don't even need that. And that's me diving in. And it's really creamy. Now, you could do anything from putting chocolate sugar-free syrup on this. You could maybe fold in some pumpkin. And that is the end of how you make yogurt. Ta-da! And my screen went black. I'll throw some credits here. Thanks.